Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Wednesday, March 15, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end, so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. Virginia Tech vs Cincinnati. This is one of those games where the road team probably doesn't want to be there, and the home team just wants to beat an ACC squad. Cincinnati's big advantage is on the boards, where Virginia Tech ranks 209th in the nation in rebounding margin of -0.1. Virginia Tech is also bad on the road, shooting just 31.8% from long range, while Cincy is holding teams to 31.2% from long range at home. The Bearcats also put up 82.7 points per game on 47% shooting at home. Our team pick is Cincinnati -5.5 points. Cincinnati wound up with a 54 KenPom ranking and a 70 NCAA net ranking. Their big problem was the fact that they were 1-7 against Quad 1 teams. They were blasted by number 1 Houston 69-48 in the AAC semifinals on March 11th. They played teams close, but they were able to beat Tulane on December 29th and went 0-5 against Memphis and Houston, who were the top teams in the American. Our total pick is under. Santa Clara vs Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State has a tough defense that is 5th in the country in points allowed at 58.5 points per game. The Bearcats hold their opponents to below 39% shooting at 38.5, which is 5th best in the nation. Sam Houston State averages 37.1 rebounds per game, and is holding opponents to an average of 26.6 boards per contest, which is 9th in the nation. Sam Houston State has covered the spread in 6 of its last 7, and the Bearcats have covered the spread in 5 of the last 6 played on the road against a team with a winning percentage at home of greater than .600. Santa Clara has failed to cover the spread in each of its last 5 played at home. Santa Clara's weak link has been its defense that allows an average of 73.0 points per game, and although its offense scores 77.3 points per game, they will be facing a tough Sam Houston defense. Our team picks Sam Houston State Bearcats. When diving into KenPom's adjusted defensive rating throughout the season, these teams are doing very well, as Sam Houston State is 21st in the nation, with a 94.3 defensive rating, while Santa Clara is currently 93rd in collegiate basketball, with a 101.2 defensive rating thus far. The pace of play from the Bearcats specifically is going to slow the game down and give less overall possessions, as they are 301st in the sport with 67.6 possessions per game, while the Broncos are 35th with 73.7 possessions per game right now. The under has hit in 7 of the last 8 Bearcats games, as well as in 10 of the previous 14 Broncos games, following an ATS loss, so take the under 142.5 points here. Utah Valley vs New Mexico. The Lobos may have struggled down this stretch, but they still have plenty of advantages in this one, especially against a Utah Valley team coming off of a heartbreaking loss. The Lobos have one of the most explosive offenses in college basketball, and with a trio of scorers above 15 ppg, they have too much scoring for the Wolverines to match. The biggest key is that the Lobos will be at home, while Utah Valley is coming off a tough loss that they still might be stewing over. With confidence and momentum meaning so much in the knit, the mental state of the Wolverines will be too much for them to overcome. Additionally, according to Covers.com, the Lobos are 3-0-1 ATS in their last 4 games, following a straight-up loss. Our team pick is New Mexico. With this total being in the low 160s, a faster pace throughout is expected from the odds makers, and rightfully so, given that New Mexico is 12-2-0 in their last 14 games. But none of those totals closed higher than 156.5, and the only other time the Lobos had a total close in the 160s was against Oral Roberts in early January. New Mexico closed as 5.5-point favorites with a total of 162.5 and won the game 82-75, good enough for the ATS win, the under to cash, and right on that MOV of plus 7.5 points for New Mexico as a favorite. Looks awfully familiar to what we've got in front of us for this game. So is going under this total for me, as even with a good offense and a suspect defense, a number in the 160s might be a touch too high for this New Mexico team. Throw in a team that knows how to play quality defense like Utah Valley does. The fact that New Mexico went 6-6 OU in non-conference play with a total plus of just plus 0.7 points, and the Wolverines knowing they'll need to slow it down to have their best shot at winning, it's an easy argument to make for the under. Arizona State versus Nevada. Arizona State got through 2 rounds of the Pac-12 tournament, but let's be honest. They were fortunate to hear their name called. Had USC shown up in the quarterfinals, the Sun Devils likely aren't here. Nevada was playing good basketball until fading with 3 straight losses to close the year. The Wolfpack Does have a solid trio in Blackshear, Lucas and Baker to work with offensively. Lucas is familiar with the Sun Devils, having transferred from Oregon State, and Steve Alford knows the weaknesses of Washington and Cambridge, who both played at Nevada before transferring. Arizona State commits 18.5 fouls per game, which is the 62nd most in the country. That's not good news against a Nevada team that has forced opponents in 19.4 fouls per game, and who is 4th in the country in free throw shooting. The Wolfpack style and their ability to get to the stripe, much less convert them, is enough to give them the edge here. Our team pick is Nevada Wolfpack plus 2.5 points. The under is 5-0 in the Sun Devils' last 5 games following a straight-up loss. I'll take a swing at the under at 133.5 total points scored in the first 4 matchup. The Sun Devils are inefficient from the field, 308th in EFG%, and count on their defense, 28th in adjusted defensive efficiency, to keep pace with their competition. The Wolfpack, on the other hand, is careful with the basketball and slower tempo, 245th in pace. It won't be a high-scoring game, and at 133.5, I feel there is value in the total to go under. UC Irvine versus Oregon. This one is a bit of a head-scratcher as UC Irvine has already spanked Oregon this season, at home. Granted, it was back in November, but you can't tell me that doesn't give UC Irvine a mental advantage heading into this one. The line then was 15.5 points, and this line is lower, but it's still a 9-point spread. That is way too much. UC Irvine has the size to match up with Dante and Oregon, and they are an excellent 3-point shooting team. Also, the Ducks are 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 games overall, while the Anteaters are 5-1 at TS in their last 6 road games, following 3 or more consecutive home games. Take UC Irvine here getting the points. Our team pick is Irvine plus 9.5 points. UC Irvine won the first game of the Big West Championship last week, but the Anteaters were eventually bounced by Cal State Fullerton in an 83-80 semifinal affair the following game. The Anteaters were actually a 3.0 point favorite, so they obviously failed to cover the spread with an outright loss. As for the total, the 163 points were plenty enough to clear the pre-game mark of 129.5 points. Individually, it was the duo of Dawson Baker and DJ Davis leading the way in scoring. Baker notched 22 points on a 6-12, 50% shooting night, while Davis went 5-13, 38.5%, and added 20 points. Pierre Croquerel too was the only other double-digit scorer, posting 12 points, while dishing out a team-leading 4 assists. Oregon made a push in the Pac-12 tournament, but eventually ran into the runner-up UCLA Bruins in the semifinal round. It was a 75-56 drubbing at the hands of the Los Angeles Ball Club, which saw the Ducks fail to cover the plus 5.0 point spread. As for the total, the 131 combined points came in just shy of the 134.0 point pre-game threshold set by the oddsmakers. Individually, just 2 players were able to find double digits in terms of scoring. Will Richardson and Quincy Guerrier each notched 10 points in the loss. N'Faly Dante came in just shy of a double-double, posting 8 points while securing 10 rebounds. As I alluded to above, UC Irvine boasts a pretty dynamic offense. In addition to the talented core of scorers, the Anteaters also love to play fast. They're using 69.6 possessions per 40 minutes, making them the 64th quickest team in the country. They'll be taking on an Oregon side that's equally as competent on the offensive end of the floor. The Ducks are putting up 70.7 points per game, and shooting 44.9% from the field. I expect Oregon to have a nice day at the office on their home court, especially considering they're taking on a mid-major program. But, as I mentioned, UC Irvine has the offensive capabilities to keep pace in this one. Look for this to be a back-and-forth barnburner between 2 quality offenses. Our total pick is over 146.5 points.